Piss and Vinegar Day 70 accessories. I'm sick and I don't know what's going on. I was sick last week, I got better and then I got sick again. I think there's a new variant going around at the moment that makes you sick, you heal up, it lingers, you get sick again. Hopefully this is the last time and then I'll be all healthy again. And I felt pretty fucked up today. I felt lightheaded, very shaky, but I thought I'd train anyway. Again, the beauty of high intensity is in the last year, I've been sick more times than I've been in a decade. I've been sick, I think, 3 or 4 times this year, which is very rare for me. But every time I've been sick, I've been able to train most of the time. There have been a few times where I've just been too sick and I'll skip a day, but even when I'm feeling pretty shit, I can get a day in because of high intensity, because it's not a long, grueling bullshit workout. So yeah, albeit today I did skip a few things. I didn't do power shrugs and I didn't do Dorian shrugs because I'm already doing shrugs every day for my traps as the nucleus overload experiment, and I didn't want to do 180 kilo power shrugs with my head internally exploding from the congestion. So I just did the fundamental leverage shrug that I do, and that was it. Yeah, and I skipped, I think, neck extensions too, because I didn't want the internal head pressure when my sinuses are that fucked up. And, you know, it's funny, actually, today, you might notice my microphone is better quality. It might not pick up because I sound like absolute arse right now, but I ordered this mic a few months ago, and the mic I've been using, right, it rocked up. And then the next day, another set, exactly the same, rocked up. And I thought, oh, cool, I have a spare, I guess. But then today, I went through the spare one, and I opened it up, and I looked at the mic, and the mic was way heavier than the mic I'm using right now. So I thought they had fucked up the shipping cost, but in reality, they had sent me the second mic, because that's what I actually purchased. So this mic is much clearer, much better, which is really cool. And the other mic I might end up using for my live videos in my gym, because I'll get like a adapter so I can plug it into my phone. The wire's not very long, and it'll be awkward moving it around everywhere I want to go. But it beats the piece of shit fucking wireless mic I bought the other day, trying to do the live recording, live narration. The mic I used was absolutely fucked. It just sounded like shit. So. And to get a decent one is apparently you have to spend, $100+, which I don't have spare right now. So I'm going to try using that mic that I have, or have been using in videos recently in my live videos, and see how it goes. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And yeah, Kogan, that's the company that I got the mic from. Kogan is a real fuck around of a company. They fucked orders up all the time, and they end up sending you 2 or 3 things extra of the same thing you bought, which is great and all. I mean, there was dumbbells, the adjustable dumbbells that I have, they ended up sending me new ones by accident for no fucking reason at some point, so it's all good. But I would have been good knowing that mic was there in the first place. Now I'm doing neck extensions. My head felt like it was literally going to explode doing these, but I did them anyway, and I went up in weight a little bit today. Normally I do just 10 kilos, and I did 12 kilos, or 11.2 now. So yeah, it's hard adding the weight to this plate because I don't have like a real decent way of loading it up, but I just ended up tying it onto the plate like every other shoddy piece of equipment that I DIY in this gym. This is a very unflattering angle for my midsection. It makes me look super fat. Don't know why. I guess it's just how the bench and everything is working there. Started feeling a little insecure. I pulled my shirt down over my fucking bulking belly. But give it a few more months and I'll be back to getting lean again. So yeah, I was doing these neck extensions were brutal, man. I got a sore throat, super congested sinuses, but you just got to do it. And people often say you shouldn't train sick because there's no point, like your body won't be able to recover and stuff. I don't personally subscribe to that idea. At least for myself personally, I have pretty good recovery, even when I'm sick. So I don't mind training sick. And let's say I trained today while I was sick, and because I'm sick, I make no gains from this workout. That's fine. Like, it's worth at least trying, because it may not reap any gains. It might not. It may reap gains, may not. It does, but really, it's a risk I'm willing to take to see. It's not a risk really. It's just like you're either gaining or you're not. So it's not like if you train when you're sick, you're gonna lose muscle. That's not really how it works. I mean, I guess you could if the sickness made you so catabolic, but unless you have like some serious COVID or stomach issue, if you feel like you can train, like if you're sick and you're motivated enough and you're enough of a hard cunt that you can train through sickness, then fucking just do it. You probably can recover from it. That's how I see it. And yeah, and I ended up actually feeling better after I trained. I felt like fucking shit before I trained. Got in the gym. I had like a massive coffee before I trained. Got in there, did a few sets of shrugs. The shrugs heated me up, got my adrenaline running. Next thing I know, my nose was unblocked. Temporarily, it's blocked again, but yeah, now I feel way better. So, my old man used to say, and this dude was a stonemason, which is one of the harder laboring jobs you can do. He would just say, if you're sick, just fucking work through it and it'll get better. If you just sweat it out, mate. That's what he would say. So you gotta sweat it out. And it's true. He used to get sick. Like my mum would always be like, does this fucking dude never get sick? Like, what the fuck is with this guy? But he would get sick. He just wouldn't tell anybody. Like, he was, he was a stoic man in retrospect. And yeah, he would get sick and he would fucking just get up and go out in the 40-degree Australian sun and fucking throw mud at bricks all day and move 40, 50 kilo pieces of sandstone around. And by the end of the day, he would feel better. Because I remember more recently, before he died, I'd ask him, I'm like, how come you never got sick? And he's like, no, I used to get sick quite a lot. I just sweat it out. So there's definitely something to sweating it out. And I'm sure there's, ancient cultures all across the planet who probably subscribe to such ideas rather than the Western idea of, just lay in bed and rest and everything. I always feel like shit if I get sick and lay in bed and rest. Like, I need to stay up and move, get the adrenaline flowing, eat raw garlic, take my zinc and eat a bunch of oranges and shit, you know what I mean? And maybe that's why I don't get sick as long as most people. Like, up until this, only just now, first time in my life have I been sick for more than a few days. Because of this weird variant, I suppose. But ordinarily, people are like, will get the same COVID thing that I get or whatever. Like, me and my family get COVID. I'll be sick for a day or two. They're sick for 2 weeks. And it's probably because a lot of them one, they're not healthy. They don't eat as good as I am. Some of them are vegans, whatever. But part of it also is they don't get up and do anything. They just kind of lay in bed and mope around. Whereas I get up and try to move as much as I can. But I'm sick. Like today, earlier in the day, I felt like shit. And I decided I'd get up and start building. I built a giant workbench today in my gym. And it sucked. I wasn't really enjoying myself. But had I just laid around in bed, I might feel way worse right now. I might not have been able to work out. So my rant today is that if you're sick, get up and move. And then take a shit ton of vitamin C, take a shit ton of zinc, have hot showers, sweat it out, and eat raw garlic. Raw garlic is good too. And yeah, that's my tidbits for getting over sickness or being able to train before if you're sick. Before I worked out, I had a way too strong coffee. I had like a fucking 2-scoop giant coffee that I would ordinarily never have. And that immediately massively heated me up. Like, you just want to drink more coffee than you're used to, so that it really, like, you get to the point where like you're almost anxious, and that will light a fire in your ass. But you only get about 30 minutes if you're sick. If you have a shit ton of coffee when you're sick, you get about 30 minutes of that coffee high, which is enough time if you're doing high intensity. If you're doing high intensity workouts, your workouts will only last 20 to 40 minutes, so you can go for it. But if you're doing just stupid volume workouts, then you're doing an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're not going to be able to do that kind of workout when you're sick, and the coffee won't sustain you unless you're like doing a Mike Mensa and smoking meth before you work out, which all the power to you if you're doing that, I suppose. Actually, I was researching into that today about Mike Mensa. Those of you who don't know who Mike Mensa is, you should. He's the logical, big brain father of high intensity training. He's incredibly high intellect, great philosopher, but he had a bit of a proclivity to taking meth, especially before he died. He lost to Arnold unjustly in 1980 and never quite recovered from that, and kind of decided to start smoking the glass Barbie. But his thing was he would smoke meth before he'd work out, and then by the time late 90s, early 2000s came around, he wouldn't even work out, but he would he turned gay supposedly, or I mean came out of the closet or whatever, and he would have like young bodybuilder dudes who would live with him, and they would do meth before they worked out and trained. Like he would personal train these people because he was highly sought after, because obviously he was, you know, he had an exceptional physique for the 70s and 80s, and he would turn out great physiques from these guys in the 90s. But meth was already a relatively popular drug in the 90s among bodybuilders, because it was the 90s. But yeah, he was a big part of that. He would get do like gay for pay sort of shit with up and coming bodybuilders and smoke meth with them. So he was an interesting cat. Not an advocate of either of those things, but like, you know, it's just kind of funny. I find it funny. It is tragic how he went though. He was a great brain. So yeah, if you're feeling really sick and you're into meth, I suppose that would be a good way of getting into the gym if you felt sick. I guess the next best thing would be Adderall, but I would suggest, personally, if I had to give advice, I would just say take a shit ton of coffee. Or maybe like a 𝙩𝙧𝙖𝙞𝙬 or something, like that African tree root. I have kind of like emergency packs for when I get sick. You know, I have like a bottle of really high dosage C and zinc. I have my nighttime flu tablets and stuff. It's good to be prepared in life. If you're not prepared and then something hits, you know, you could have been way better off. So I like to be prepared, and yeah, and that's my whole cycle without the without the meth. But if I had 𝙩𝙧𝙖𝙞𝙬, I'd probably take that too. That shit's quite intense. Great cutting supplement. Although I think it's illegal in Australia now. I used to take it before intercourse because it works as like a nitric oxide boost, and it makes you like brutally. It's a brutal aphrodisiac basically. So it increases your thyroid, but it also makes you incredibly erect. And yeah, so if you have a girlfriend or something, you could run it by her. I had an ex that took this shit, and it turns dudes and women into nymphomaniacs. But I think it might be illegal now, so maybe do your research before you take it. Also, there are some heavy sides in the anxiety side of things. I mean, it's not like steroids or anything. It's not going to shut down your testicles, or it's not anabolic, but it will make you cut weight and increase your heart rate and make you sweat like crazy, among a host of other things, and it can be terrible for anxiety. So that's another thing I'd probably do if I was sick, but I don't have that on me. Anyway, I'm all over the place today ranting, but basically, train through the sickness, sweat it out, do high intensity. Bye-bye.